What up, people? Thought I'd do a little review of my Dropzone Commander PHR forces now that I've had them for a while. Had them for maybe a couple weeks, so I've had enough time to get some stuff built up, and got one item painted and all that. The starter box, small one, comes like this. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all the videos regarding, Jesus Christ, regarding what you get in them, but yeah, you just basically get a bunch of plastic bags, infantry and all that, and once they're built, you got some walkers here, more walkers, some drop ships, and some vehicles. Now my initial impressions are pretty good. The material that they're made out of is actually really good. It's resin, it says, but it's more like plastic. Like here, if I take one of these drop ships here, you can see that they bend like plastic does, but they won't have that weird warpage there like plastic does. They will snap, but only if you like get across a threshold. Like for instance here, if I take this is basically the crap that you're cutting them off of the sprues. You can take it there, get it to bend. I've bent it all the way around, and it still hasn't snapped. So this is pretty good stuff. It's very easy to cut. It's very easy to sand. It is very easy to drill through. As you can see here, I've magnetized my vehicles, both the turret there and the top. Now about magnetizing, I know some people on YouTube like to like magnetize just about everything in their army. You know, magnetize all of the walker arms and all that crap. I will not be doing that, and here's why. That seems utterly pointless for several reasons. Here, if I take this painted walker that I've got, he's magnetized. You can see here on one of my Neptunes, I have magnetized it as well. Now, if I hook them up, if I can get this in there, you know, it holds it just fine, but on the field, because of the paint on there, that model's probably no longer going to fit once I have the Neptune painted, and it wobbles really easy. Now, unpainted models are just fine. Get this walker on here. Now they can wobble. You know, it holds it just fine, even from the side. But if you look here, you can see that the hole for the flight stand is completely blocked off. Now, that's just not going to work for me, because obviously I started magnetizing these because I thought that I would, you know, have them look cool and, you know, fly around the battlefield. I really like the idea where, you know, if I'm moving my dropship onto the field, you know, it can hover there in midair, and I can see exactly, and my opponent can see exactly what is contained in that dropship. Well, I just can't do that. It's just not going to happen. And now the Poseidon, I also have this one magnetized. Same deal. You can have them magnetized, and I guess this is part of the reason why Poseidon can't take these types of vehicles, is because they won't fit. If I see here, see, they don't fit properly. So it's like, it just seems pointless to me to magnetize your entire army, and that's a lot of money that you're spending for customization, I guess. I mean, even if you do magnetize the walkers, that's one thing, but magnetizing each one's arm just seems pointless. So I just glued them in. Each walker is magnetized at the torso, and I'm using 2mm by 1mm magnets, which were drilled out with a 1/16 inch drill bit by hand. And like, again, that's really easy. It's very easy to push through these models, so you have to be really careful and just, you know, use more finesse than brute strength with them. These are my Menshit walkers here in the front line. They're your anti-infantry walkers. They have the flamethrower on that arm there, and the minigun on the left arm. And then in the back, I have the Ares. Those are your anti-tank walkers. And then the Phobos, which are anti-air walkers. And then I got a gob of Neptunes there. This would be my pile of Type 2 walkers, which I've yet to build. See here, everything pretty much comes to a sprue like that. You can see the Enyo. There is an incredible amount of detail on these things. Now, I know some people have said that these really don't take a lot of cleaning. Don't listen to them. It's not true. It's just not true. There is flashing to clean off, and little nubs, and it's just very, very irritating. I wouldn't say it's quite as bad as a Flames of War miniature, because it's much, much easier to saw through, but there is still a significant amount of cleaning required with these. Now comes to the bad. There is, I don't know, and it's an issue with the casting process that creates bubbles. If you look at my Janus walkers here, you can see there at the joints back here, there's little bubbles that have formed in the casting process. Those seem like they're gonna be easy enough to fill in, like you can just use some liquid green stuff or something for them. But also, if you look at these Junos, there's quite a hell of a seam there. And then if you look at the back, every single Juno I have has the same issue. They aren't matching up. And if you look at this top piece here, this little kind of like a little line thing, it's not correct on the right side. Every single one of them is like that. It's like it's misformed. Get one of the non-completed ones here, see? It just doesn't have the same definition that the other one does. So that's kind of an issue for me. Oh, even bigger issue with the bubbles. If you look here on my Poseidon, this thing got it bad. Here on the optics, you can see that on these pieces here, there's bubbles. So my optics, which should be perfectly round and beautiful, aren't perfectly round and beautiful. And you can see another bubble right there on the front of the nose. And I'm not a very good modeler, so I don't know how I'm gonna fix all this, but if you look at the missile rack on top too, it is particularly bad. See that? Every single one of the rockets damaged. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how I'm gonna make it nice, because I just better figure something out. Also with the Neptune, there was a globule that was basically just like a lump, and it had to be cut off because it had no definition, and that created the gap that you see here. That gap obviously should not be present, that one right there. So that's that. That aside, these models, also due to the material, are insanely easy to convert. Here I took 2 of my Type 2 walkers and I cut up the legs. Each leg has 3 cuts on it, so that I was able to make a 4-legged walker. As far as I know, this is one of the first, if not the first, conversion in the entire game. I was going to have this mounted in a dropship as well, but I think it's too big. I had to use a bigger magnet for this one. But they're pretty reliable models other than that. It takes really no effort to convert these. Because of that converting, I am planning on also hopefully doing something with my Tyrannus missile launchers. Now, these are shown on the website. Here, let me get this open quick. As being open like this, but there's also a picture where it's closed like this, and I think they look great both ways. But if you wanted to mount these in a dropship, obviously you would have to mount it down. The hardware for it is basically this little piece here, which there isn't much to it. You know, you can drill there, you can drill there, put a magnet in, and that'll allow you to have the turret spin. But there isn't a whole lot there in terms of getting it so like you can, you know, modify the hinge or something. And there's so much detail there. Look at that. So much detail that I would hate to lose all that. So what I think I'm going to try to do is insert a pin here in the rear and push it through, and then set it to the open position again and push the pin through again. So basically I can pull the pin out, close it, and then push the pin back in, and it'll stay locked. You know, if I turn it upside down, it wouldn't open. And then when I want it opened, pull the pin out, lift it up, and then reinsert the pin to keep it locked in the open position, which, again, that looks cool. But on this one, no damage to my missiles. On one of the other ones, there was, however, hold on, let me get, this one's kind of stuck. There was some damage there to the front. See that? Sorry, my hands aren't very steady. So it's something to consider. I'd say that overall I am incredibly pleased. This game is worth every single money you spend on it. And to end the video, I'd like to show one of the models that I had completed. For right now, this is just a test model. Just did it in a basic red. These things are incredibly detailed and very, very, very fun to paint. I just love painting these things. I wish I had time to do more. On the camera, it's appearing like kind of like an orangish red, but in real life, it's like a nice bright cherry red with a nice gloss coat on the armor and a flat coat on the everything else. Oh, and yeah, one more thing. What you get with the blisters are these. They're pretty simple. Effective demonstration. Simple, like it. On the back of them, you can see this hinge thing here, which I think is a really nice feature, because when I looked at these at first, I saw the stamping here. So I was like, oh no, these are those packages that, you know, people try to open during Christmas and end up cutting themselves on and bleeding to death. Like, no joke, people have died from these kinds of packages before. But because of this hinge, you can either cut the hinge with a knife, which is really thin, and you can use that to pop it open, or you can kind of fumble around here and just open it right up from the back. It's that simple, and that gives you easy access to the model inside. So I'm loving these things, and I think everyone should spend as much money as they possibly can on these things. If you have children, go ahead and sell them and spend your money on these things. If you don't have children, get married, have some children, and then sell them. Oh, and one more thing. Again, Hawk War Games has graciously provided PDF files you can print out. Now, you should obviously be printing this out on cardstock, or print it off on labels and then attach it to foam core, which would probably be the most ideal thing. I printed this out just on regular paper just to see how it'd look. And you can basically make a whole city of these damn things, and that's what the game's meant to be played, is in a cityscape. So I think it's really fantastic that the company offered a way for everyone to have a tabletop full of city terrain without having to spend a little fortune or sell, like, say, a 5th or a 6th child. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't care if you didn't, because I'm just wasting time. But yeah, go buy their stuff.